allowing me to kind of share with you guys today. And pretty excited about where this business is going. In fact, we're very, very excited about where it's going. And I've heard a few comments from the monks out in the Philippines. And what I wanted to do is kind of piggyback on what they're doing and just share with each of you how you can create explosion growth in your business. And first of all, let me give you a few cliches from the business. First is a lot of people doing a little bit. You hear that all the time. When the ships rise, when the tide rises, all the ships rise. Another one I love is when you see some of these leaders walking across the stage that achieved certain levels, you just kind of scratch your head saying, how in the world did they ever make it? And the statement for that is this: if you see a turtle on the top of a fence post, you know that that turtle didn't get there by itself. And the thing is that nobody in this business gets anywhere by themselves. This is a team sport, and what I'm going to do is talk strictly about team. What I want to talk initially about, though, is you as the individual and the lowest common denominator. Now, you've heard Simon, I heard him say a couple of times, this is network marketing. There's some work involved. And so let's get it down to the least common denominator and the lowest common denominator, and that happens to be you. Now, what's the lowest common denominator as it reflects to you? And that's the number of hours that you invest in this. And I like to say invest because what it does, it creates an income for you if, in fact, you invest your dollars in the appropriate way. And the term we like to use for that is income-producing activities. Again, I'll say that again, income-producing activities. So let's drill a little deeper into this. Private business receptions is what I call what the monks are doing over in the Philippines and Taiwan, and that's home meetings. And what I would suggest is if you're going to be working in this business, and I'm going to give you a little outline here, private business receptions, home businesses, just put 2 hours a week down for that. Inviting to events, put 3 hours down for that. And then the next level would be follow-up and three-way calls, put 3 hours for that. And then attend an event. My suggestion is if you've got any event, like Simon's having a meeting at their home there every week, that's an event. If you've got something happening at a local establishment, that's an event. If you don't have a local event happening in your market, then a private business reception or a home meeting is an event. Now, what you've got is 2 hours for your own private home meeting. You've got 3 hours inviting for those events. You've got the follow-up and three-way calls, which is another 3 hours. And attending the event is 2 hours. So now what you've got is 10 hours of income-producing activity. The reason I say that is some people say, well, I put 5 hours in last night. You say, what were you doing exactly? Well, I was in my back office. I was looking at how many people signed up, or I was reading that, or I was reading this. Guys, I'm telling you something. All that's great. All that's sharpening the axe. But the way you make money in this business is to find yourself spending a minimum of 10 hours a week on income-producing activities. So let's go a step further. Now we're going to talk about inviting. Now, I did a training recently in the U.S. on inviting, and I just wanted to go through this pretty quickly for you. And what we're going to do is we're going to tie this up just like a new gift for you at the end of this presentation. The first thing is that you want to just jot these down. I've got 6 points here that I want you to jot down. The first is be in a hurry. Now, being in a hurry means that when you call, let's just use the name Bill, because people love hearing their names. And your goal on any invite is to mention the person's name. The sweetest words to a person's ears is their own name. So be in a hurry. So when you call, you say, Bill, I've only got a couple of minutes. So one, you've let Bill know that you don't have time to answer a ton of questions. Okay, number two, clear the time for the event. And here's how you clear the time. This is the way I use it. This might not be comfortable for you. Find something that's comfortable for you to use. And what I say is, Bill, what are you doing at 8 o'clock Tuesday night that's going to put 6 figures in your pocket? Again, what are you doing Tuesday night at 8 o'clock that's going to put 6 figures in your pocket? Usually they laugh, and then they say, hey, I'm not doing anything at 8 o'clock that's going to put 6 figures in my pocket. So now you've cleared the time, and you can find out then if they're available, they're available for that time. But if you say that, and they say that my son has a soccer practice or something of that nature, you know they're not going to quit, not go to the soccer practice. So at that point, you terminate the conversation. Okay, well, I'll get back to you later as soon as I get an opportunity, and you're gone. I mean, don't stay on the phone if a person's not available. The next step is edify the speaker. If you're going to be going to Simon and Fraser's meeting over there, and you've cleared 8 o'clock on Tuesday, add big value, edify the speaker, edify whoever's going to be doing the presentation, okay? Just edification, edification. If you become great at edification, you'll make huge money in this industry. The next step 4 is add value. Then say, Bill, I've only got 2 seats on the webinar, or 2 seats at the event, or 2 seats in my home that evening, whatever way you want to express it, and I've got 20 people to call. Will you be there? So what you've done is you've added some value. You said, hey, look, I mean, it's the fear of loss. I've only got 2 seats. I'm calling 20 folks. You got a decision to make right now. You can't say, hey, I'll get back to you tomorrow, okay? Step 4. Step 5, you reinforce their decision. The first thing you say is, great. Agree with them. Great. Now, Bill, are you certain that you'll be there? Are you certain that you'll be there? You want to make sure that they didn't say, I'll try. If they say, I'll try, that means they're not going to be there. You know, if they say, okay, I'll be there without a shadow of a doubt, and if they get a little peeved with you and they say, yes, I'll be there, that means, guys, they're going to be there, okay? So you've had an effective invite. Now, what you want to do is you want to keep your invite, and this is number 6, keep your invite short. 55 seconds to a minute is the most that you should be on the telephone inviting someone to an event. What I have in my office, I have it kind of sitting on my desk here, and I just have be in a hurry, and it's just a comical statement to me, and what it says is this: tell me yes or tell me no, but speed it up. I gotta go. So that way it kind of coins what you want to get out of that invite. So now what we've got is this. I've talked about the importance of having private business receptions, home meetings. Now, here's the reason why they're so important. You've got a powerful invite that I just gave you. So you're doing a powerful invite. And the way I say a powerful invite is if you're doing a wimpy invite and you're saying, please come, and that kind of thing, the numbers that I'm about to show you are not the numbers that you're going to get. But if you use a powerful invite, you're going to invite 20 people, and you're typically going to have about 8 people coming to your event. Now, I know a number of you out there are going to say that my friends aren't like that. I'm going to tell you something. I've been in this industry now for 8 years, and everybody's friends are like that, okay? Getting 8 out of 20 powerful invites is a nice number to have in your home. Now, let's look at the numbers in this business. They're very important. You got 8 people looking at hearing a presentation. Out of the 8, you get 2 to get involved in the business. They buy Sherlock licenses. Okay, so you've got 2, you got 6 that said no, or whatever the case might be, but you've got 2. So now what you've got is you got a story. Now here's the story. When you're calling the 20 on the telephone, when you get off the phone, no matter what they say, you say, thank you for the 5. And then you get off the phone. And they'll be like, what did he say? Thank you for the 5. What did he mean by that? And see, a number of them will call you back and say, well, what did you mean about thank you for the 5? Because if you think about it, you've made 20 calls. When you personally enroll 2 people into this business, you make $100. So 20 calls into $100 is $5 each. So for every call that you make, you just made $5. And in U.S., I mean, you guys can probably take that and put it in the type of money that you've got in your individual countries. But I'm going to tell you something. It really works. It really piques interest. And you say, well, what do you mean? Well, my company pays me about $5 every call that I make to invite people. And they'll say, well, how can I find that out? Well, we have another event next week. So now what you've got is another invite to the next week. Now let's talk about home meetings very quickly. I'm not going to talk about the format, because, you know, I might step on some people's toes. Certain people do it certain ways. The key is that you should have a system within your organization on how you're going to do your home meetings. John can't be doing them one way, Mary doing them another one, because you've got to have a system. When I invite somebody to a home meeting in the Philippines, I would like to know what's being presented and how it's being presented, So then I have an effective way of being able to talk to that person when they come back and get them engaged in my business. So we want to be very, very system driven with our home businesses as well. So I'm not going to talk about that portion, but one portion of your home meeting should be what I call BAM FAM. Book a meeting from a meeting. Now you've got 2 people that signed up in that meeting out of the 8. Now those 2 people are the most important folks in the room right now, because what you want to do is give them your time. What you want to ask them is, when can you do 3 home meetings? And you stand there with your, you might have a smartphone in your hand or your day timer, whatever way you're going to jot these meetings down. You're looking them in the eye and say, when can you do 3 home meetings? And you didn't say, can you do, or will you do, or is it possible that you can do? What you've looked at them and you said, when can you do your meetings? What days are best for you? Tuesdays or Thursdays? You know, and so immediately you got a new person. They're at a home meeting, so they feel like everybody does home meetings. And I love a story about a friend of mine by the name of Stephen Thompson. He had a little apartment in Houston, Texas, 800 square foot. Stephen would for years said, wow, man, my place is too small to have a home meeting, too small to have a home meeting. So finally he broke down and started having home meetings. After about 2 months, his apartment was too small. There were people standing on his porch. There were people actually out on his balcony, 800 square foot. You can't get much smaller than that. He went on from that apartment, after doing those home meetings, to moving into a 6,000 square foot 3 garage home, because he started having those home businesses. Guys, you know, where you are right now, the home that you're in is where you are right now. You know, if you begin to do those meetings, you can certainly change that situation very quickly. And I'm going to give you the numbers on how that can happen. Now, we've talked about the $5 a call. That's critical. Now, here's another number for you. Each person that gets involved in the business sets up 3 of the home meetings. Now, you got 2 people getting engaged in every meeting. That's the minimum. 2 people getting engaged in every meeting. You've got those 2 setting up 3 private business receptions, 1 each week for 3 weeks. Now, why 3 weeks? Usually at the 4th week, you've pretty much worn out that location. Now you want to go to another location. But you still have, every time somebody comes in, they're scheduling 1, 2, 3 weeks of home meetings. Now, if you do that religiously, what will happen is after 8 weeks, you'll have 162 scheduled home meetings. 162. And you know something? That's with about 1/3 of the people saying they're not going to do it. Okay? 162. So why are home meetings important? You can see how it can explode your business in only 6 weeks. What you want to do in your home businesses is leverage Simon Brookes' video. You just saw it on the YouTube. You know, why wouldn't you say to the people on the phone, hey, come by and see the $10 million man? You know, that's what I call him. He's made $10 million in the last 20 years. To me, he's a $10 million man. Hey, come by my home and meet the $10 million man. He might not be sitting in your living room or sitting in your den, but you guess what? He's going to be on the screen, and you're going to introduce them to him on that screen, and he's going to do just as good a presentation sitting in front of that group as if he was in the room for him. So again, Charles, Emily Monk, I mean, that testimony that they gave on that 23-minute step 2 is just amazing. So if you guys are in the Philippines, Taiwan, I mean, certainly use the heck out of those because that's your leverage. Now, here's the point that I wanted to get to with each and every one of you. You know, there's 2 great things about what we do. If you say too much, if you use too many words, my philosophy about words, they're holes in a boat. You know, you don't want any holes in your boat, so you want to say as few words as possible. Let the people, the leaders, do the heavy lifting for you. Let them do the talking. Use 3-way calls as much as possible. Now, here's what we do. It's as simple as this. Number 1, we give away a free product. Number 2, we build a team of people that give away free products. Isn't that amazing? You know, it doesn't have to get any more complicated than that. Now, what I'd like to do is just show you the leverage of numbers when you begin to do home businesses. Now, most of us that work 40-hour work weeks and take 2 weeks off vacation a year, or 4 weeks for some people. Let's say you work 2,000 hours a year and you're making $20. I use American dollars, $20 an hour, okay, which is a pretty nice little sum of money. So you're making $40,000 US a year. That's a nice income. Let me show you what home businesses, what home meetings will do for you, private business receptions. Let's say you've done private business receptions for 6 months, 5 months, 4 months, whatever it takes. You've now got 500 people in your business in a 5 or 6 month time frame. And the way it's moving in the Philippines and moving in Taiwan and the way you guys are building it in the UK and some areas here in the United States, 500 people in 6 months is moving kind of slow. But let's just use 500. So you've got 500. Now, remember that 10 hours a week that I said that every person in your organization should be doing? You've given them the income producing activities to spend those 10 hours. So what you've got is 500 people working 10 hours a week, which is 5,000 hours a week, times 50 weeks. Let's give everybody 2 weeks off. That's 250,000 hours a year that you've got being produced beneath you in your organization. Now, here's the catch point. And you can play with these numbers all you want, because what it's going to do is going to cause that little feeling that you're getting right now in your belly, man. You say, hey, man, this sounds too easy to be true. It really is if you create duplication. And that's all Fraser's doing and Simon's doing and the monks are doing and I do, is what we say is a whole lot of people doing a little bit, but that little bit has got to be the right thing. And the right thing in this case, if all of these folks were doing what they were supposed to be doing, that income producing activity, and you were getting 50 cents, only 50 cents for every hour that they worked, you would be receiving $125,000 in income. Is that amazing or what? If you were getting $1 for every hour that your people within your organization were putting time into this business, you'd have $250,000 a year coming in from that activity. That's how important home meetings are, private business receptions, but even more important than that. Hey, Fraser, Simon, hey, that's how important these calls are, these webinars that you're on right now, because what they're doing is they're planting seeds of duplication, planting seeds of duplication. A whole lot of people doing a little bit, but they're all doing the same thing, and they're doing it effectively, and you don't have to spend a whole lot of time doing it. Hey guys, hey, thanks for allowing me to share, and I look forward to seeing an explosion in a lot of your businesses.
Thank you very much, Ormond. I really appreciate that. I hope everyone had a piece of paper and pen there and took some notes. I definitely did. It's funny you say about the home meetings, Ormond. I mean, when we first started this amazing business, we did a Monday meeting and a Thursday meeting. In fact, on the Monday meeting, we had 84 people around our table in one of our rooms, and it went absolutely crazy. It got that busy that we got asked if we could do a Thursday meeting, and 56 people turned up on the Thursday meeting. So that was a total of 140 people in just 2 meetings in one event. But the interesting thing about that was that the people who actually came to the house stayed committed. Every single one of them are global now. Here in the UK, every single one of those people that stayed involved with the business and used the home meetings and expanded and went to their home meetings or set up hotel meetings, every single one of those guys went to global. So we don't call it Simon Brookes' home anymore. We call it the birthplace of globals here in the UK. It's the heart of the UK. As I say, we do our meetings we still do them every single Monday. Another story I've got is I tell all my frontline to do the same as what you've just told everyone. And I recently sponsored somebody in Italy, and I basically said, listen, I know you don't have the application. That's fair enough. It will come to Italy one day with the growth. Now, what you should do is you need to get the excitement. Treat it now as a pre-launch. So get a meeting set up in your home and get everyone around your home. Well, he joined around 3 weeks ago, and so far he's sponsored 9 people into the business himself. But the best thing about it is, out of those 9 people, every single one of them has sponsored at least one person, and it gets even better. Every single one of the people that they've sponsored have recruited one person and another level as well. It's gone crazy. In those 3 weeks, there's over 50 people now in Italy, and it's going wild. And now it's catching on and just keeps going and going and going. Ormond, I really, really appreciate your time tonight. I really do. But before we end tonight's webinar, I just want to let everybody know that if you think these trainings are amazing and you want them to keep going, then we need people's emails. We need them emailing to Simon Brookes at simonbrooks1@btinternet.com. If you just literally write a sentence or two about what you liked best about the webinar, then we can keep doing them. Otherwise, we get no feedback. Also, if you actually go onto the Destination Diamond website and you see the major event button here, that will give you details on the major event that's happening on the 24th and 25th of November at Cranage Hall near Manchester, at Crewe, in the UK. That's going to be the biggest event of this year and the very, very first inaugural Shopping Sherlock Leadership Weekend, and Michael Reed is going to be coming over. So if you think the trainings are valuable on these webinars, then just you wait to see what happens at the Leadership Weekend. The trainings are amazing, absolutely amazing. And we'll be doing workshops on Sunday as well, so the how-to workshops. So basically you can just get all your questions asked. So if you don't know how to do something, you can find the answer, and they'll be given by all the field leaders in Shopping Sherlock. Yeah, so make sure to tune in next week. So we'll have another guest speaker, Global Power Distributor. He'll basically be going through his system and how he's created and how he's almost recruited over 100 people. So it's definitely worth a listen. I love listening to this guy. I think he's absolutely phenomenal. Again, thank you very much for your time. Ormond, thank you very much for yours. And see you on next week's webinar. Thank you. Goodbye.